Yo, welcome to Pitch Report. I'm Mario.
And I'm Amilcar.
And on this episode, this is part 3 of our 3-part series where we are going through the 25 biggest soccer moments to happen in the last 25 years, according to Pitch Report, aka Amilcar and me. So if you haven't seen already, go to your feed. We already have 2 episodes out where we went through 25 through 16 and then 15 through 6, respectively. And now we're going to go through the last 5 greatest things that have happened in the last 25 years. We wanted to switch it up a little bit. So for the first 20 things that happened, Amilcar and I agreed. We talked about them. And then we left the last 5 up for surprise. So Amilcar picked his 5. I picked my 5. I think odds are we probably have some that are the same, but we might have some that are different. So without further ado, we're going to jump into it. I think the first one is number 5 that Amilcar picked.
Yep, it is my 5, and we briefly talked about it for a hot second earlier today.
Oh, we did.
But in my opinion, this is the best goal I've seen with my own eyes, at least on TV live. I think we both think, or at least I think we both agreed that the greatest goal I think I've ever seen on like TV or like on YouTube is the Zidane volley for in the Champions League final. That's like my number one best goal, but this is right up there with it. And in my opinion, it felt like kind of like the world stopped when this happened. I feel like I remember watching it live, just like it seemed like it was slow motion, just kind of like a piece of art, like how high Ronaldo had to jump. The magnitude was in the Champions League semifinals. The only goal I've ever seen where opposing fans gave Ronaldo a standing ovation in their own stadium after that goal. And the crazy part now looking back on it is that Ronaldo signed there basically the next year. He signed at Juventus. And I think that was when he goes back, when he's talked about it, was one of the reasons that was pivotal to him deciding to go to Juve because of how well they treated him. And this is a goal that Buffon has called a goal that belongs in a museum. That's because it was against him, and if you've seen it, he just looks back at it, and then just like he's just staring in awe. Like, just cannot believe that just happened.
Yeah, this is a masterpiece of a goal. I think if you were to go to space and you have to send like to aliens, like people out in the world, like
where are we going, Mario?
Just stay with me. We're almost there. If you had to show them like what is peak human performance, this is one of the clips you have to put. If you put like just like you have to watch it, like the timing, the positioning, the way, like the confidence and skill you need to have even to attempt this is insane. Yeah, this is such a beautiful goal. Yeah, you really like have no words for it when you see it, and see that really has nothing to say. He's just going like, whoo.
Yeah,
when he
like,
scores
can't believe it happened.
Yeah,
and that's coming from like the guy that he did that. He did something similar.
Yeah, he's the person that scored the goal you mentioned earlier. That in the Champions League final. Yes. Mm-hmm. Wow, that is impressive. And the Zidane goal you mentioned, for the longest time, that was my background on my screen. So yeah, I'm sure this is worthy of it as well.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that the final against Liverpool, Bale had a bicycle kick as well. Slightly less impressive, but still crazy in a final bicycle kick as well, which I'm like, man, Ronaldo couldn't live it for very long before he got kind of like pseudo one-upped that season.
Yeah, Real Madrid can not only do they win championships or Champions Leagues, but they do it with style.
And yeah, this is the end of the three-peat. So same season. I'm telling you, noodle hair Ronaldo.
Yeah,
different man. What was yours, Mario? I want to hear yours. Your number 5.
I mean, it's funny. We were kind of competing. It's a kind of a mix of our how we started this list with the 25 and the 24. You went with Ronaldo, Real Madrid. I'm going with Messi, Barcelona. So I'm going with Messi's legendary 91 goal season in 2012 in the calendar year. Mm-hmm. I will say, well, first I'll say he scored 79 goals for Barcelona and 12 for Argentina in 69 matches. So that's 1.3 goals per game. I will say I almost didn't include this because I don't know. I'm more of a fan of like team achievements to a degree, or at least yeah. Because in this was a very impressive season, but Barcelona did not win really anything. I don't believe. So despite the fact that it was like a really great like personal achievement,
Mhm.
I feel like it didn't help the greater team. Where Ronaldo, they won the Champions League, and it's one amazing goal. So I that's an individual one, but it was amazing, you know. And it was just one thing that contributed to the win. Obviously, like Messi did really well that season. I think he scored. Maybe it was the year before we had 50 goals, but yeah, that year he had more goals than some teams had combined the whole season. I think, yeah, than 10 teams, combined, I believe, or something like that. But yes, so I did go with this just incredible feat, and we're talking about these people that are at this point we've had them at least 3 or 4 times in our list, so they've really dominated not only like soccer but our list in general. But I did want to pay some homage to
Oh man. Oh, it's the same jersey too. Wow. I didn't realize it was the same jersey.
Yeah, it's the same jersey. It
That's
kind of looks
awesome.
like a Spider-Man. It's a little tighter on me than it used to be, but yeah, still fits.
For those of you that are on the podcast, Mario took his sweater off and he's wearing a long sleeve Barcelona jersey that looks exactly like the picture that I'm seeing for Messi.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's also the Messi jersey. Oh wow, okay. So literally the exact same jersey.
Yeah.
And this is for number 5, man. I wonder what you can do for number 1. What prop are you gonna bring on for that one?
No, this is my only prop.
Uh,
Amilcar is wearing a Real Madrid sweater, so you can't really fully see it. But he's wearing a Real Madrid sweater.
Yes, I am. I am totally wearing that. But all to say, I agree with you. I think that's a super amazing achievement. I think 91 goals. It hasn't been done since. I think he broke it was like a 40-year-old record or 50-year-old record. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be another one that's going to get close. I think Mbappe this year had the most goals, and I think he was at 61 or 62, which is insane.
Yeah.
We got far too used to players scoring 60, 50, 70 goals with Messi and Ronaldo, and realizing that before them, like those numbers were untouchable really. And now like Mbappe's 60 something, like that's crazy impressive. So like it's not normal for this to happen. So I don't know that this is going to happen again, man. I think it's going to be a long time for someone just to go on the run that he was scoring 1 to 2 goals a game, basically, is what he was doing. So, but anyways, I will go into my number 4, which is Leicester City winning the Premier League. We have a kind of a trend. I feel like every underdog that has come and done something that hasn't been done before, or won Champions League, Euros, has been represented. And I think this win might top. Not might. It is topping the list for me in terms of underdogs and people winning championships. The EPL, I think we know, is so hard to win. I think it's probably the hardest trophy to win because of how long the season is, how competitive the EPL is, and the fact that Leicester was able to win it when they were one of like the lower teams. I think their preseason odds were 5,000 to 1. And a fun blurb that I saw like that year, those are the same odds of like Elvis Presley being alive. Like that's how like crazy it was.
On that note, actually, on the Elvis one, what I read was that the odds for Elvis being alive was 2,000 to 1. Oh. So it was
better odds of that happening than them winning the EPL.
Kim Kardashian's odds for being president were 2,000 to 1 as well.
Wow. So there's a lot of interesting odds. All to say, like similar to what we were talking about with some of the other team achievements, like or with Bayer Leverkusen, some of these players went on to play like have pretty impressive careers. Like I'm thinking like Mahrez and Jamie Vardy, and I know I'm missing some other
Conte.
N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, but when they were on these teams, they were kind of like what we're saying, like the rejects, the not the biggest names, and they kind of came together and that impressive run. I know the last like 3-4 weeks, it was everyone was watching Leicester City games.
Yeah, well, before I say anything else, this is on my top 5 as well. It's not number 4. Should I just share it now, or what should we do, Amilcar?
I mean, no, just wait till we see yours.
Okay, absolutely. This is on my top 5 as well. But yes, just an amazing feat that Leicester City did. And I think it's a combination. Like you mentioned, kind of like having sort of like reject players, respectfully, but then and also the mix of like these gems that like shine. But so many things have to go right for an outcome like this to happen. It would have been a success if Leicester City made it to the Champions League, if they finished top 4.
Mhm.
So like a huge success. But to win the Premier League, that was just like essentially like unheard of. You would have been mad to expect that.
100%. Yeah, then I guess the odds literally show that. And
Yeah.
that was not only just the odds, but that was the sentiment that people had going into it. It's like saying, I don't know, Wrexham gets promoted next year and they win the EPL. I bet you if you look at the odds are probably better.
than I guarantee you.
So yeah, that was impressive. But what did you have for your number 4, Mario?
I had the Miracle of Istanbul. So we do stay with the Premier League team. But yeah, this was Liverpool's 3-0 comeback in Istanbul against, I think it was AC Milan. They came back. They were down 3-0 at halftime, came back, tied it 3-3, and then they won it in penalties, which we had referenced. I believe Xabi was part of this team.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is kind of like I think maybe an equivalent sort of like Tom Brady coming back and the not Tom Brady, but the Patriots with Tom Brady coming back against the Falcons in
28-3.
Yeah, exactly. Like in that nature where it's like a crazy comeback. Obviously, like a very good team nonetheless. But yeah, it was just like a very impressive moment because usually 2-0 maybe 3 is just kind of tough. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool moment in soccer.
Yeah, this is also in my top 5. I also have it a little bit higher up, but like I said, you said equally as impressive. I mean, being down 3 goals at a half, not just any match, but the Champions League final. Just where your head's at when you're down 3-0 and you think it's over. They scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. That's how they came back and made it 3-3. So it was goal after goal after goal, and you can imagine. I know we've talked before on the podcast about when a team scores a goal, like the next 5 to 10 minutes is like the hardest you have to defend because they just have the motivation of scoring another goal. And imagine how it felt to score like the third goal or like the second or third goal and being able to come back and end up winning the Champions League. And just you realize like a team's never really dead and buried. And I don't know, I would argue this is one of like the greater Champions League games. I put them up there with La Decima for Real Madrid, where they got like the last minute header, things like that. That is just super impressive.
Yeah, especially like you say, it's not over till it's over. But usually in soccer, it's like the type of game where 3-0 with not a lot of time.
Over.
Like it's over for the most part.
95% of the time. I feel like if you had those, have you seen those odds things where it says like odds to win the game? I'm sure it was like 99% odd to win the game or something.
Yeah, I'm sure I guarantee you people didn't watch the end of the game because they had to turn off the TVs or whatever. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Maybe in baseball, maybe in like not time-based sports, but yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's super impressive, and I'm glad that it's on your list as well as mine. Yeah.
Moving on to número tres.
Number 3 for me, I also had Messi's 91 goal calendar year. As you can see, I was not wearing the Real Madrid hat with my next couple picks here when I was um, putting this on. I was trying to be as unbiased as I can, as hard as that is. But I can't really add much to what we already said, but 91 goals. I just really don't think this is going to happen again. I mean, maybe it will, but it's such a hard accomplishment to do. It just requires so much consistency for that to happen. And also your teams have to be good enough to make it far enough in like Champions Leagues, in World Cups, in Euro Cups, in Copa Americas, because you need those opportunities to score those goals, right? You can't do it with just like a mediocre team, or let's say, in like maybe not such a great league where they're not doing well. So that's what I thought was so impressive. The stats are interesting. 80 with his left foot, 8 with his right foot, and 3 headed. So he scored with every single part and won. Yeah, so that's all I can say, man. I think it's impressive, and only 14 goals came at the penalty marker, which means the rest were open play, which is crazy.
Yeah, Ronaldo's been very quiet since he said that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think Ronaldo and Messi aside, like the competition, I'm more of a Ronaldo person, like we had mentioned, but I think this is probably the most impressive season. Like just putting it all together. Wish it was someone else, but it's not, and it's super impressive the way he did it.
Yeah. Very. Can't really add much more, but yeah. Thank you, Amilcar, for being fair.
All right, I better see some Real Madrid up here, Mario.
I'm sorry. I don't think you're gonna see that. You're a better person than I did. I have to keep it with Barcelona. So number 3, I have Barcelona's sextuple. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but in 2009, they won La Liga, Copa del Rey, UEFA Champions League, Supercopa de España, UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup, which is insane. Again, when we were like reading about the different like things to put on, like 6 trophies. I didn't even know there was that many that you could win. And now I guess it's a little harder with the Club World Cup kind of being like every 4 years. But yeah, this was like arguably one of the best club teams probably ever assembled. Some of these they won within like 4 or 5 days of each other. I think they won the Champions League, and then like a few days later won the Supercopa. But yeah, it's just like unreal. Some players don't win 6 trophies and don't win 1 trophy in their career, or like competitive players like might win 6 in a whole career, and that's a good career. You say like, oh, like I won Champions League, that's awesome. Like, and 6 in a year, it's just insane. This is just like a golden generation of players, not only for Barcelona, but for like the respective countries. Like this was like a big core of like that super dominant Spain team. So that's also blows my mind too. If you look at like within that context of what else they were doing in the football world, or they were like, this was in between the Euro win, on the way to win a World Cup. If you're like one of the Spanish players, on your way to 2 more, if you're Victor Valdez, or you're like not really doing it for Spain, but like you're part of the team. Piqué, Iniesta, they just such greatness. Eto's having like also like a great season. Thierry Henry, just really amazing team, and I thought it was pretty cool accomplishment. Which these are the ones that you're like, are we ever going to see something like this again? Which the answer is yes. Bayern Munich did win 6 trophies as well in 2020, but Barcelona did it first.
And that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
And that's why Bayern Munich is not on this list, and Barcelona is, right? Because once you've done it once, it's not nearly as special as the first one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with that, you may as well go to my number 2 at this rate, because I also had Barcelona's sextuple, but I had it 2 differences. I had it number 2, and then I have a nice little asterisk right next to the 2009, because this is, if you follow soccer in the news now, right in the middle of the time when they were allegedly paying the head of referees in Spain. So there was a lot of questionable victories that happened in Spain. So that was my little asterisk. That being said, when we talk about the greatest calendar year, like I said with Messi, I think this is probably the greatest club season altogether. They won everything. Also impressive here. It's kind of what I would say is like was the start of like La Masia being an actual thing, and most of these players coming from the lower ranks and like the development that Barcelona has there. And they, like you said, they established the tiki taka, which then translated into Spain. But yeah, man, it's just an impressive all around season. You basically said everything I was going to say. So it was number 2 for me.
Amilcar, I just want to commend you on like just being a class act with your list and your top 5. Yes,
I
I
tried
guess
being as unbiased as possible, really.
Christmas came a little late this year, but thank you.
All right, what do you got, Mario?
All right, my number 2, I take it back to the Premier League. I got the Invincibles, the 2003-2004 Premier League win of Arsenal. We talked about it like being first and like doing it again, or like sorry, we talked about like Leverkusen doing it very recently. Very impressive, warranted being on the list. But the Invincibles, they did in the Premier League, which is arguably like, or not arguably, it is like a harder league now, and it was back then than the German league. So I just think it was just very impressive to not lose a single game. They won 26 games and they tied 12. So it's almost like 60 something percent of the games they won. And a player I really like, actually, Thierry Henry. He was one of the main contributors to this team, and yeah, just a very impressive feat that, again, I wonder, like, will anyone ever do something like this, especially in the Premier League? It's insane. Like, talk about being focused. It takes one slip up, one mistake late in the game, especially when you're tied. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm laughing. I'm like kicking myself because I don't have this on my top 5, and this is like one of the ones that you realize, oh wow, like how did I forget about this one? Because yeah, this is like I think you have it probably in the right spot right there with like one of the hardest things to do. Like we said, it was hard enough for Leverkusen to do it, but Arsenal doing it in the EPL even harder. More talented team, right? We'll say, but still such a hard thing. We talk about how hard it is to win the EPL, let alone win it and never lose a match. The only thing is, I don't think they won the Champions League either this year,
No,
right? So
no.
interesting, right? Like how it's a super dominant team, but in the EPL versus like we have Barcelona, we're dominant just across the board in every single competition. So yeah, kicking myself here for not having this on my list at all, but definitely should have been, especially since we had Leverkusen at in like the mid-teens, I think.
Yeah, and it kind of goes to show too, like these accomplishments, obviously it's our list that we made up, but there's different levels of impressiveness, you know? One team won 6 trophies, one team only won 1, but like the degree into how they did it and like what went into winning them, that's what makes a lot of these things unique. And some of these things on the list so far have literally been a moment, like someone getting headbutted, which is like 2 seconds in time, and some are moments that are a combination of like months, years sometimes. So nonetheless, they're all really cool, and it's been really enjoyable to experience them.
Yeah, they have a nickname, the Invincibles.
Yeah,
Super creative. Who would have thought? You know, no one else gonna have that nickname. Leverkusen doesn't have it already.
Yeah, it was a tight deadline for the article. What are we gonna call them? All right, Amilcar, drum roll to your number 1.
My number 1. We already talked about it, but it was Liverpool comeback in the UCL. I think it was the greatest UCL final we've seen, like I mentioned previously. Just a crazy comeback. Never would have thought would have happened. They call it the miracle in Istanbul for a reason. Don't really even know what to say. I think it's just they thought they were dead. They thought they were done, and then they came out of nowhere. Jersey Dudek had some crazy saves as well. Went to penalties, won it on penalties because they saved 2 penalties. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Maybe people won't agree. I think it's the top 5 could all, I think, be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Maybe you can even go to the top 10.
Yeah,
could
totally
be interchangeable. But this to me was something just like crazy, impressive, and maybe not even impressive. It's just like, I don't know, the never give up mentality is what I think impressed me the most out of this.
Yeah. Do you think going into the penalties, you already came back from 3-3? Are you like, I'm sure you're like focused, locked in, but at that point you're like, this is our destiny, or you think they're just focused until they get it done?
So it's interesting. I think it would have depended on when the goals were. So the goals was within 6 minutes, but it was like from the 46th to like the 54th minute. So
Yeah.
they still played like 30 minutes with nothing, probably just defending nothing, and then extra time and then the penalties, right? So I think if the goals were in extra time, or I mean, it wouldn't have been extra time, obviously, but in like additional time or towards the end of the match, I think you were kind of like, all right, this is it. We got this. But I feel like enough time had passed by the time penalties came around that you were probably just like, dude, we can't mess this up on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Like I think from AC Milan as well, like we can't give this up. We already got all these goals scored on us in like 6-7 minutes. We have to win this, and
yeah, that's true. And yeah, and I guess if you're Liverpool, you're almost expecting a fourth goal for 30 something minutes. You already scored 3 super quickly, and then it didn't come. So yeah, you could maybe even be not doubting yourself, but be a little more like nervous going into it. I mean, I'm sure you're nervous.
And on the flip side, also, like I think the fact that AC Milan didn't give up another goal, right? Like
Yeah.
you give up one goal, then another goal, then another goal. Like I think are probably like, oh shoot, this is over, man. Like what is going on? Like we're crashing and burning. Like how is this happening to us? And having the mental fortitude to go another 30 minutes plus another 30 minutes of extra time, and then go into penalties and not give up that last goal. It's also kind of on both sides of the ball. I think was I was gonna say impressive, but maybe not impressive on the AC Milan side, but impressive that they didn't just crumble and just like lose like 4-5 to 3 or something.
Yeah, I wonder what they call it in Milan. Not the miracle in Istanbul.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, my number one has already been on the list, as we mentioned, but I have Leicester City winning the Premier League in 2015, 2016. I already mentioned I like a good underdog story, but this is by far my favorite one on the list. I think I said that about maybe Porto, but this is actually my favorite one on the list. It was a perfect combination. I don't think you could replicate this in any way, shape, or form. I think it's one of those things that just go beyond what we can comprehend and break down. There was a combination of really good players. It almost like a Moneyball type of sense, if you've ever seen the movie, where like starring Brad Pitt, where the premise being that he identifies players that like are undervalued because they might look funny. They might like no. They
Is it really because they looked funny more?
That's one of the points he said. Like look funny in terms of like how they play, like how they swing, whatever.
Oh, I thought they were just like like just their physical looks were funny.
Well, in the movie, which I think it's like drama, but they say one of the players has low confidence because he didn't have an attractive girlfriend. So like the scouts were like, nah, we're not interested. He's got low confidence.
Man, who would have thought that that's something the scouts are thinking about, man?
Yeah. No, but what I mean though is like they ended up, I guess, taking a step back. They were playing with a budget of about $30-ish million collectively for the team. The top 5 teams are usually at this point in time where like in the 200 $300 million range budgets. So they were completely like outspent. This was a team that they even had to do something impressive the year before where they were going to be relegated, and I believe they won like 7 or 9 of their last like 11 games just to avoid being relegated. So it was just like it was insane. They're not even in the Premier League anymore. They're back in the Championship. They were recently relegated. They had Jamie Vardy, who played, I think, as low as like the 7th tier of English football, which I think isn't even professional. I think it's considered Sunday League in the UK. He was like working construction part-time, I believe, or something like that. And he got into the league in his later 20s. So it was just like his story in and of itself is an underdog story. And he broke the scoring, like the consecutive goals scored in consecutive games record. He was just like amazing. He'd been on the team the year prior, but he just went completely off that year. Conte was insane. He's gone on to win the Champions League, the World Cup. I think he's still like going to feature in this upcoming World Cup. So Mahrez was on that team too. Very young. Ended up winning Champions League many times with Man City. He's doing well at AFCON right now. So they definitely had a core of Schmeichel's sons was a goalie. So they definitely had like an interesting like lineup, and then they had a lot of other just kind of like journeyman players that had career seasons, and it all just came together to make this an amazing like run. And I think if you're a fan of football and like the Premier League, anything, you kind of had to root for Leicester City. When this was going on, like I was hoping that they would win. And at that point, who wouldn't want a story like this? Since the Premier League started in I think 1992, there's been 7 teams to win it. 5, I guarantee you could knock out right away, and there's 2 that are like that kind of don't make sense. Do you want to try
So
saying
that's
them?
what Man U, Man City,
Yes.
Arsenal.
Yes.
You
You just had in your top 5.
Oh, Leicester. Oh no, we're not talking about Leicester City, right?
No, it was a previous. It was your number 1.
What? Why am I blanking on my number 1?
The Miracle in Istanbul.
Oh, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I literally just totally blanked right now.
No worries. And Blackburn Rovers, who really won in the second year of the Premier League, and then Leicester City.
Wow.
So, yeah. So basically, in the last like 30-something years, Leicester City's the only team that's not in like the top 5, top 6 to win it. So it was just like a very, very like crazy like achievement. We talked about like the odds that were going around at that time. For reference, Mexico's odds of winning the World Cup right now are 1 in 80. Leicester City has 1 in 5,000, or had 1 in 5,000. Like, I wouldn't confidently bet any money on Mexico winning the World Cup. And yet people bet money that Leicester City would, and some people made hundreds of thousands of pounds on like a bet that they would win the championship.
Yeah, it's also crazy because I wonder who did that. Like, who did those bets that
you got to be a
win?
diehard. I don't really gamble like that.
I guess you could bet like $10, right? Like, I don't know, you bet like $10-15, you would have won tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Like, on such a small bet.
Yeah, I think there's one person that bet 100 and won like 70 something thousand pounds. Yeah, it was insane. And there was a kind of like a little bit of lore, but there was a King Richard, who was like an old king a long time ago, and his body was found in 2012 outside of Leicester, like in a parking lot, and there was some things going on between like who had like rights to like his body and whatnot. But finally, in March of 2015, his body was given a proper like burial with like all the like formalities that you do for like kings of England.
Mm-hmm.
This was in Leicester, and the following season, Leicester City, with the main owner being King Power, won the Premier League. So some people say it's
kind of better than that.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like weird, funky things, and we've vaguely like mentioned this too. Their manager was the first time coaching Leicester City as well. I'm blanking on his name. What was his name? I don't remember. But a lot of the managers, and that could maybe be something we talk about. A lot of the achievements we have on our list were first year managers. Even the Barcelona 6 trophies was Pep Guardiola's first year.
Oh wow, I had no idea. That's impressive too.
Yeah, Xavi and with Leverkusen first year. I think Mourinho with Porto was first year. So I guess now it's making more sense why they sack him quickly.
So the coach's name was Claudio Ranieri, and I just looked it up, and he actually got fired by Greece, the national team, like the year before, took over Leicester City, and then won it.
Dang, that's insane. There's a really good documentary on YouTube where you just put like Leicester City like Premier League win. There's actually a couple. The one from like the Fox's network, which is like the Leicester City like account, is pretty good, and the NBC one too. and the coach Claudio he seems like a really cool, like good philosophy type of guy, kind of like a friendlier, like Luis Enrique type philosophy in the way he kind of like talks and stuff. So it's definitely worth the watch. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary in May of this achievement. This is like worthy of a movie, I would say, but I'll leave it at that. This has been fun, Amilcar.
Yeah, it's been super interesting. Almost like the last five were fun too, because we had no idea really who had what. So it was kind of exciting, but also really interesting, like the behind the scenes and how long it took us to get this list, and how many times we moved things up and down and pulled them out, and had these conversations that we're having now, just discussing like, no, that's why I think this one should be higher or lower, and it really does show. But I'm actually curious if there's anything we missed.
Oh, I'm sure we did. If we missed your favorite player or team's achievement, please let us know. Send all your angry messages. We're going to link or write Amilcar's number in the description. Please text him. He likes late night texts, so just between 2 and 4 in the morning.
Exactly. Let me know all your gripes about our list. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm excited. Hopefully we'll do something in 25 more years. It'll be maybe top 50 in 2050 or something like that.
I mean, I would venture to guess some of these things should like last or pass the test of time, but others not. Some players that will make it probably haven't even been born yet if we do this in 2050.
Yeah, what debuts are we gonna have on that one?
Yeah.
Maybe Lamine Yamal. I don't know. Maybe other random people that haven't even been born. Yeah. A lot of crazy stuff, man. But maybe we could do this next year too, and just maybe for a year, kind of like a year in review, for what's happened in the past year and the biggest moments, because it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, thank you for watching. We have a lot of things planned for the rest of the year. It's a World Cup year. San Diego FC is going to be playing next month, actually. And a lot more coming up. So thanks again for listening.
Yeah, appreciate you guys being part of our day, talking soccer, hanging out. So remember, find us on Instagram and X at _the pitch report. I'm Amilcar.
I'm Mario.
Bye.